Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering video. Sorry it's been so long. Thanks to all of those that have sort of reached out to me and just checked that everything's okay. Yep, I'm doing good. Obviously, like all of you out there, wrestling with COVID, I'm very, very fortunate to be in a province in Canada where the incidence of COVID is relatively low compared to the rest of Canada. So I'm really fortunate about that and thankful. It's the main reasons for me not posting was a couple of reasons really. I've been super busy, and any of you that are lucky enough to be in employment at the moment will know that for some people things have got incredibly busy, particularly like me if you work in the technical support industry. The challenges now of working from home for a lot of people have obviously made things quite hectic. I'm fortunate in that I do work Monday to Friday, but by the time the week's over, you feel pretty tired. And I've had another number of other projects that I've been working on. I've sort of got a side interest in data science, and I'm taking part in that. There's a data science challenge going on at the moment, 66 days of data science, where you sort of set yourself a goal every day of doing at least 5 minutes. So at the weekends as well, I've been mainly fiddling around with some music-related data projects to do with interrogating the Last.fm API. So I've been wanting to sort of pursue that, and so haven't really had time to do alternate Magic videos to the unboxings, because what's also happened in all of this is the most recent set has been delayed. As you know, I normally order a bundle, and that's the bit that's been affected during the recent release. So I've asked my supplier, because most people watching this video, like everybody else, I purchased my own Magic stuff, and so I've basically asked them to hold back my whole order, including the Commander stuff, so they can send it in one go, because I don't really want them taking a hit. They did offer to send it out separately, but I figured, well, a lot of these suppliers and shops are in real dire straits, so they don't want to add any more overheads to what is already difficult times. So anyway, I'll move on now. We've got over the sort of, I suppose, the grim bit, the grim realities of life, and let's get on to something a bit more cheerful. So what I do, spurred on by all the well wishes out there, is do a special unboxing. I normally keep Magic product back, occasional bits that I find over the years for such occasions. So we've got an unboxing going on, and hopefully a couple of weeks or however long it takes down the line, we'll be able to get on to actually the Zendikar set, which is now, it's been out for 2 or 3 weeks now probably. I've actually lost track. So we'll open up a Planechase product. So this is the original Planechase. I didn't buy these when they first came out. Don't forget, this Planechase set, the first one, actually predates Commander product. So this was the first example of a multiplayer product that they released. When I bought some of the stuff that was well after its original release, it was super cheap. I think this is the one I spent the most on. I had to end up ordering this off of eBay, but most of the other ones I just stumbled across in bargain bins in various card shops. That's not the case now, I don't think. I think the price of these have gone up because, of course, some of the contents of this has become Commander staples, just the product generally. And there was one, I think, I can't remember if it's called Zombie Empire, something like that, which had, I think it was Cabal Coffers in it as one of the cards. And, of course, stuff like that just has got a lot more expensive. So this is Strike Force. These were 60 card Magic the Gathering decks. They've got planar cards in them as well. I think the cards as well, at some point after this product was released, they did release, if my memory serves me correctly, release additional ones of these, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe someone could correct me. So I have previously opened on the channel the other ones. So there was a Metallic Dreams one, which was, I think, Artifacts Matter. Zombie Empire, which I've mentioned, I think that's the first one I opened. This is Strike Force, and there was an Elemental Thunder, which I'm assuming was like an elemental deck with large creatures. I just don't remember, but it's definitely been unboxed on this channel. Okay, all new 10 card planar deck, a ready to play 60 card deck, 6-sided planar die, deck box, Planechase strategy insert with multiplayer rules, and a Magic Learn to Play guide. That's good stuff. I think this is a red-white deck in here. We've got Legends in here as well. This is a, again, I shouldn't promise stuff like this because I know I don't always deliver on the deck building side of things. Unboxing's fine, do those a lot, and that's really what the channel's all about. But this thing I keep trying to resurrect, which is the Commander Fodder series. This is another deck that would definitely be good for that. I think there's at least one legend in here. Anyway, let's open this up. So this is a bit of a casual unboxing. We could do without the ton of packaging, but Okay, I'm going to just, hold on, let's see. There we go. Let's get those out first. I just want to try and find the how to play guide here before we go through this, just so we can orientate ourselves. It's probably been a while since we've looked at this sort of product. That's our deck box, by the way. Just trying to look here. Some of this product, it's probably, I suspect if you put those, those really tight sleeves, if you're double sleeving, not that I ever necessarily recommend those, but if you're trying to keep the deck, just keep the deck nice, my suspicions are you could probably put those on and it would still fit in here. There's enough wiggle room in there, but you're not going to get away with like full sleeves, I don't think. They're too wide, so full sleeves are too wide, but those tight fit ones definitely probably do that. Actually, this might be more appropriate than I thought. You tend to forget how long ago these came out and what was out at the time. Look, it's got actually as an advert for Zendikar. What do you know? So there is a bit of a tie in here. Okay, so this shows you how old this deck is that they were advertising for the release of Zendikar. Yeah, October the 2nd, 2009. Wow. So this product predates that. Okay. So it's 10 years old here. Okay, hopefully, oh yeah, that's nice. So we've got the components. Each player will need a traditional constructed deck. You don't have to use the deck in here. You can use another 60 card deck. You do need, obviously, these planar cards we'll come on to in a moment. So what does it say down here? A planar Magic game is best as a free-for-all game among 3 to 6 people. Though you can, of course, play 2-player planar Magic games as well. To set up a free-for-all game, seat all the players are randomly around a single table. Each player should shuffle the deck, as well as the planar deck. Keep your planar deck in its own face-down pile near your library. In fact, you'll treat the planar deck like a second library. You can look at it or rearrange the cards in it. After you randomly decide who goes first, each player draws a hand of 7 cards like normal. Players may take mulligans. Once everyone has kept an opening hand, the player who will go first turns the top card of his or her planar deck face up. Abilities on that plane that trigger when you planeswalk to this card won't trigger since the game hasn't started yet. Then your first turn begins. Okay. So we've got our playing cards, our planar dice. There's a variant with the shared. I've seen it, I don't know when this was, probably around 2010, I think. I saw this being played at the very first Halcon, where I think someone was playing this. What they did was they were using the planar component with the dice and the things, but it looks like they were actually playing a commander game. Or what would have been back then called EDH, I suppose, if my memory serves me correctly. Oh, there's a lot more instructions on here actually. But the key thing is here, as you're playing the game, these cards get turned over and they affect the environment the game is in. So you can see there's let's flip this over. On here, there's like a multiplayer part and a planar part, and it sort of explains, okay, in a multiplayer game, what you have to be aware of, and then the planar component. That's where this dice comes in as well. When you roll it, if you get a blank, then nothing happens. If you roll the chaos symbol, which is there, that's their chaos symbol. The face-up playing cards, chaos ability triggers. So you can see there's one on these cards. If you roll the planeswalker symbol, the face-up planes cards, unwritten planeswalking ability triggers. When this ability resolves, the owner of the face-up playing card puts it on the bottom of his or planar deck. Then you turn the top card of your planar deck face up. Welcome to the new world. Yeah, okay, so it's just a way of changing what's currently active in the game. During your turn, anytime you could cast a sorcery spell, I'm just reading off of this actually, you may roll the planar die. You can do this multiple times in the same turn. To roll the die, you must pay an amount of mana equal to the number of times you've already rolled the die this turn. So the first roll is free, the second roll costs 1, the third roll costs 2, and so on. Rolling the die happens immediately. No one can respond to it, but the results do not. Rolling the die could have 3 results. There we go. So, this sort of thing's real interesting. I don't know if anybody's played the card game Flux, but it feels a bit like that. What happens with this, and I have played a version of this that was available with one of there was a Planeswalker a sort of game on the PS3, I think, and they released it every year. I can't even remember what it was called, but one of them I think had Planechase, or was it Arch Enemy or Planechase? Anyway, where you get this sort of changing, it's frustrating actually, because you think you're about to win and then there's something triggers and it completely changes the environment of the game. So yeah, if you like that sort of gameplay where suddenly the tables can be turned, then yeah, it's good for that. The other insert in here, I think, is the standard. Yeah. So there's also with these, if you go back to this time in Magic, you had like inserts to do with the basic rules of Magic and the different phases. It was a lot more depth of explanation there. The other thing is, because this is effectively reprints, what they did with this one is they actually printed all of the deck's contents in the insert we were looking first of all. one thing they didn't do actually. I don't think they listed. So they did list. Oh yeah, they did list where they came from actually. So you can see. No, actually, my mistake. What they did do is list that they would. So yeah, okay. So now it's all coming back to me. This product also acted as a Zendikar preview. So it was definitely released probably the previous release before Zendikar. So between, if there was a course, I'm trying to remember. So yeah, would the course set have come out before this? I don't remember what they were doing with corsets actually at that time. I think this would have still been released while 10th edition was in effect. I don't think M10 was released until a bit... No? Anyway, I'm getting a bit confused now. So M10 would have been... Yeah, M10 was released in 2009. So yes, yeah, it would have... So M10 would have already been out. So M10 would have been the previous set to Zendikar, original Zendikar, and then this product probably came out between M10 and the release of Zendikar. Right now, I think I'm getting this right. It's interesting when you try and do everything from memory when it's involving sets from over 10 years ago. So they've marked on here which ones are coming from Zendikar and which rares there are in here for this particular set. They do mention the planes for the planar cards. What they don't do, which they used to sometimes do on supplemental product, is mention what sets the original cards come from. They haven't done it for this. Okay, so I'm just going to flick through these here. So we've got Stronghold Furnace. It's from the Plane of Wrath. Nar Isle from Plane of Wildfire. So this first one involves is a sort of change to the damage, to the way damage is dealt. This one is another thing that affects damage through the use of flame counters. Then we've got Is It Steam Maze, cares about instants and sorceries, and gives the player ability to copy them. And the chaos aspect affects the casting cost. Then we've got Skybreen in the Plane of Kaldheim. So this one impacts top of the library. So we've got top of library manipulation and life loss on the chaos side of things. Academy at Teleria West, which is in the Plane of Dominaria. You get to draw 7 cards if you have no cards in hand, and if you roll the chaos symbol, you discard your hand. So there's like a replenishment effect sort of going on there. In the Plane of Sokenzan, the planar card Sokenzan on the Plane of Kamigawa. It's basically all creatures get pumped +1/+1 and have haste. And in its chaos state, if you like, then you get additional combat. Glimmer Void Basin on the Plane of Mirrodin. Cares about instants and sorceries. Easily copies them. And the chaos part of it will actually create tokens of creatures on the battlefield. Shiv, which is on the Plane of Dominaria. All creatures have red. This creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Not so good if you're not playing a deck where you've got red mana sources. Whenever you roll the chaos symbol, put a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. So obviously it's a red-white deck, so no problem there. Agarim on the Plane of Ravnica. Whenever a white creature is put into a graveyard, so it's a graveyard effect going on here. Yep. So stuff coming back from the graveyard, or bounce back from the hand, depending on whether it's a white creature or a non-white creature. And in the chaos state, this affects the ability to attack. And Ataria in the plane of Dominaria is all about flashback. And in its sort of chaos state, then if you roll the chaos symbol, you get to take an extra turn. So some interesting stuff going on there. You can see how it gets chaotic. So let's look at the deck. So this is a 60 card deck. We'll just go through this because it is relatively old. I'm going to have to spend a bit more time going through this because I'm not super familiar with some of these cards. So we've got Order, Chaos, both instants here. So for 3 and a white you get to exile a target attacking creature, and for 2 and a red creatures can't block this turn. So you can basically opt to play either or both, providing you have enough mana to do that. Goblin offensive, X 1 and 2 red. Sorcery, put X 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. Captain's Maneuver. It's a red X red Y instant that deals damage. Rolling Thunder. Another X spell, X and 2 red. Another damage spell as well. Insurrection, 5 and 3 red. Untap all creatures and gain control of them until end of turn. They gain haste until end of turn. So that is very interesting in a multiplayer game. Achroma's Vengeance, 4 and 2 white. Destroys all artifacts, creatures and enchantments. It's got cycling 3 on it. Cone of Flame, another damage spell with these 3 parts to it. So you can target, do 3 targets, damage, 1 damage to a target creature or player, 2 damage to another target creature or player, and 3 damage to a third target creature or player. Furnace of Wrath, doubles up damage. It's an enchantment, so it's 1 and 3 red, stays on the battlefield until it gets removed by whatever, and it'll so if a source would deal damage to a creature or player, it deals double damage to that creature or player instead, but it's across the whole board, so it's like a global enchantment. It's not just enchanting the player. Glory of Warfare, a 2 red white enchantment, as long as it's your turn. So this is specific to creatures that you control. So it's a player enchantment, +2/+0, creatures you control on your turn, but when it's not your turn they get +0/+2. Congregates in here, 3 and a white, target player gains 2 life for each creature on the battlefield. Prison Term, locks down a creature so it can't attack or block and can't activate its abilities. And the nice thing with this particular aura, it's 1 and 2 white, I'm not sure if I said that, is you can bounce it around, so whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you can actually attach Prison Term to that creature. Orim's Thunder, 2 and a white's got a kicker, a single red there, a way of dealing with artifacts or enchantments, and if you kick it, you get to deal damage equal to that permanent's converted mana cost to a target creature. Oblivion Rings in here, a good solid lockdown. It's enchantment, so it enters the battlefield, you put it on another, you exile another target creature, and when it leaves the battlefield you return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Arc lightning. It looks like there's a lot of one-offs in here, actually. In fact, yeah. Yeah, pretty much everything in this deck is a one-off apart from, we'll see in a moment. I don't know if we've seen the lightning helix yet, but there's two offs there. They're all one-offs in here. So, bearing that in mind, this would be very EDH friendly. So arc lightning, 2 and a red. Arc lightning deals 3 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or players. Oh, there's our 2 lightning helixes. So red white, you get to deal 3 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 3 life. So there's 2 copies of those. Double cleave, 1 hybrid red white, gives a target creature double strike until end of turn. There's a Boros Signet in here, so it's a way of filtering any colour of mana to produce red-white mana. It's 2 to cast. Reckless Charge, target creature gets 3/3 and +0 and gains haste until end of turn. There's a Relic of Progenitus in here. Good way of basically exiling a threat from a player's graveyard. And you also get to exile all cards from all graveyards if you pay 1 and exile Relic of Progenitus. This is 1 to cast originally. Here's our first legendary in here, possibly the only one, but we'll see. Razia Boros Archangel, 4 red, 4 and 2 red, 2 white, 6/3 legendary creature angel with flying, vigilance and haste. Tap, the next 3 damage that would be dealt to target creature you control this turn is dealt to another target creature instead. We've got Rorik's Bladewing, 3 and 3 red legendary creature, dragon with flying and haste, and it's a 6/5. Bull Ceradon's in here, 4 red white, 5/5 with vigilance and haste. Got a Balefar Liege. There's a cycle of creatures that goes way back to I always get the names because there was a 4 two set blocks, one after the other, and I am trying to remember. My mind has gone blank, but one of those sets was Shadowmoor, so it's in that sort of time period. So 2 red white, red white, red white. Other red creatures you control get +1/+1. Other white creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a red spell, Balefar Liege deals 3 damage to target player. Whenever you cast a white spell, you gain 3 life. It's a 2/4. Like I said, there was a cycle of these, 1 for each colour pair, and I think they were spread over consecutive sets during that sort of time period. Yeah, I've just remembered the first set of that set of 2 lots of 2 set blocks was Lorwyn. Menacing Ogre, 3, 2 red, 3/3, trample haste. When Menacing Ogre enters the battlefield, each player secretly chooses a number, and those numbers are revealed. Each player with the highest number loses that much life. If you're one of those players, put 2 ++1 counters on Menacing Ogre. Keldon Champion, 2 and 3 red, creature human barbarian, so 3/2 with haste and echo. So the echo cost here is 2 and 2 red. At the beginning of your upkeep, if this came under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice unless you play its echo cost. When Keldon Champion enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target player. There's a Flame Tongue Kavu in here, 3 and a red, 4/2. So when it enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to target creature. Hearthfire Hobgoblin, another creature with hybrid. So this is 3 red-white hybrid. It's got double strike on it. It's a 2/2. Durgar Hedge Mage, 2 red-white. It's a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, if you control 2 or more mountains, you may destroy target artifact. When it enters the battlefield, if you control 2 or more planes, you may destroy target enchantment. So a lot of these hybrid manas from that that period, that sort of that whole Lorwyn into Shadowmoor 2 blocks, they, you know, in their abilities, in the rules text, sorry, they cared a lot about their colours that they were playing. Core Sanctifiers, 2 and a white, 2/3, creature, core cleric. This was in Zendikar, in original Zendikar. So kicker 1. When Core Sanctifiers enters the battlefield, if it's kicked, to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Yeah, kicker was a thing in that set as well. Boros Guild Mage, red white, 1 and a red, target creature gains haste until end of turn. 1 and a white, target creature gains first strike until end of turn. It's 2/2. Assuming that was from as like an original. Yeah, this is very funny. I'm having a moment here where I'm forgetting old Magic the Gathering sets. Ravnica, that's it, original Ravnica. Ceridon Yearling, red white, 2/2, vigilance haste. Boros Swift Blades, red white, double strike, 1/2. Oh, there's another card where there's a couple of those. Oh, Battlegate Mimics in here. So there's a load of mimics from back in the days of Lorwyn and Shadowmoor. 1 red white, creature shapeshifter, 2/1. Whenever you cast a spell that's both red and white, Battlegate Mimic becomes a 4/2 and gains first strike until end of turn. Soul Warden's in here, so when another creature enters the battlefield you gain 1 life. So now we move on to some land. We've got Terramorphic Expanse. Tap, sacrifice Terramorphic Expanse, search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield. Tap, then shuffle your library. Got a couple of those. We've got Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion. Tap, add colourless miniature mana pool. 2 red white, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. There's a couple of those. We've got Boros Garrison, which makes sense in a red white deck. Enters the battlefield tapped. When Boros Garrison enters the battlefield, return a land you control to its owner's hand. But after you've done all of that, when you do get to tap it, you get to tap for red white. It's a couple of those, no surprise in this deck. And then we move on to our planes. I am not sure what set this is. This artwork's coming from. The nice thing about the Planechase decks is they had some really interesting artwork that was relevant to the deck in terms of the planes. Oh, that looks like that's come from original Ravnica. Because at this point there was no other, you know, return to Ravnica or return to Ravnica stuff. It was all the cards, Ravnica cards, would have been from original Ravnica. So we're basically just going to see 2 colours in here, white and red. Yeah, that's another piece of artwork I think I recognise from original Ravnica. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure where that came from. I don't know. I don't think they commissioned artwork specially for the set. I could be wrong. If someone knows, I know I've got a lot of people on the channel that watch this channel, very interested in the artwork on the lands. Might be able to point me in the right direction on that. That's pretty cool. You can see that, okay? Oh yeah, original Ravnica. Some nice quality to it. I imagine that would look really good, like as a full poster. I know this one, I've seen foil versions of this. This looks really cool in foil, that particular one. Okay, there we have it. So it's just 60 cards there. It's not like a full, not like an EDH deck. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Something a bit different. Like I said, I just pulled that out of. So that's the remaining of the original Planechase that I didn't get to unbox. That's the Strike Force deck. That was, like I think I said at the top of the video, that was about the only one where I had to track that down a few years ago when I had all the others where I just stumbled across them in various stores. This one, the red white one, was actually the hardest one to find, and I think I ended up going on eBay to get that. And yeah, that was cool actually, because I'd completely forgotten that this came out before original Zendikar. It was sort of in that, you know, that slot between would have been in the slot between when the core set normally comes out, which is what, July time, and then when the first of the new sets come out, which is September, October time. So they, you know, that was a good time when they used to sort of slot in these supplemental products that they had. So there's a couple of legends in there. Those are always interesting cards to take a look at. The lieges from that whole sort of double, that Lorwyn Shadowmoor blocks. So we've got the Rorik's Bladewing and the Resiaboros Archangel. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Stay safe everybody, stay well, look after yourselves, and bye for now.